Welcome back, guys. Episode 17, season 2. Couple of weeks after the All Star break, couple of not weeks, let's say series, right? What's up, Lash?
Yeah, man, this is our first week back since the All Star game, All Star break. Home run derby. It's not my cup of tea, really, but I watch it for poops and giggles. The All Star game, I didn't really watch it as much, but I watched it because I was at work, so I couldn't really watch the whole game. But then I saw it was a tie game. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And then I looked it up and I realized, oh, so
New real.
yeah, so it was a tie game. So just a quick recap. So in the All Star game, just for poops and giggles, they did two things. They did the automatic balls and strikes system, which really worked really well. Both pitchers and I think a pitcher and a hitter challenged it, and it went in the favor of both players. So that was exciting. But then in the home run, in the end of the game, instead of having the man on second like they do in the regular games, they did um, a swing off, a home run swing off. So basically, each team, three best players from the NL and three best players from the AL, did a swing off.
A
Whoever
swing
hit the
up.
most, yeah, I think it's you get three pitches and that's it per hitter. And it went to a swing off, and Kyle Schwarber ended up hitting like three or four home runs
I think he had three
to win the
consecutive home runs or something like that. I'm not sure.
yeah
Something
yeah
like that, right?
yeah yeah, that's what it was. And then so it's kind of like how they do it in soccer, where end of 90 minutes plus added time, they go into PKs, and whoever scores the most goals on PKs, that's who wins. Same thing, but home runs. It was kind of cool. It's fun to see. Is this something they would do in the future? I don't know. I kind of do like it because the difference between baseball and like football and basketball is that in all those sports, in hockey, your best player has a chance to win the game. In baseball, if Judge, Soto, or Alonso are top of the order, and you got 8, 9, 7, 7, 8, 9 coming up at the in the bottom of the ninth, that sucks. You can't use
It
your best
sucks.
player.
Yeah.
Where with this
I
rule,
see what you're saying.
I kind of like it because okay, now I get to use my best. So if you're the Mets, hey, I can use Soto, Alonso, and Lindor or Nimmo one rotate those guys to be my top three hitters, and Soto, Lindor, and Alonso, guess what? You have a good chance now,
Nah,
and
but
I think that's
imagine
fair,
this though. Imagine how much more money a person like Soto or Alonso, like so basically all these big burly guys that hit a lot of home runs, are the guys that are gonna get paid the most now because you changed the whole dynamic of the game. Because like if the game is tied, this is what's gonna happen at the end of the game. So it's kind of crazy. You just changed baseball completely by throwing that into the mix. You see how crazy that is?
Yeah, you do change it, but I just think that's not fair. That baseball is the only sport where your best player does not get a chance for you to win the game. Think about football.
Well,
You have the best
yeah.
player on the field. Basketball, you have LeBron James on the field. In hockey, you got Connor McDavid on the ice, so you have a chance. In
Yeah, well,
baseball, your best player is not going to come up. There's a good chance that your best player is not going to. You can't pull him out till you have a chance to win.
I know, but they have, you know what? They have four opportunities, five sometimes, to show everybody why they're the best person on your team. You know what I'm saying? So like, I see what you're saying, but they don't get highlighted as much. But listen, when the situation comes around, sometimes they come around and there's nobody on base for them to show off, right? And then sometimes the bases are loaded and they can't pull it off. You know what I'm saying? They're human, but I see what you're saying. But by doing that and changing that little rule in the game, wow, that would change everything. It would be a completely different game. Kind of crazy. It would be too splashy at the end for me. You know what I'm saying? For a tied game, it would be way too splashy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Imagine how
Yeah, but trust
disgusting
me,
a World Series game like that would be.
no. But guess what? You know what the biggest problem with baseball is? They don't know how to draw fans. If you want to draw fans, make it exciting, knowing that okay,
No,
here's the
no.
better option. I got better option. All right, instead of a home run swing off, right? In the ninth inning only, you can rejigger your lineup so your best three hitters get to come up. I didn't. That's a good way. It's not home run. Or instead of whoever the 8, 7, 8, 9 is, let's just say whatever the order is, or it doesn't matter wherever the order falls at the time of the ninth inning comes, and you're down by okay. So if it's 4, 5, 6 coming to bat, okay, now and the other guys haven't, I can now bring up my best players to hit. So at least I have a chance to win with my best players. You don't
Yeah.
have that in
I,
baseball.
under-
It's
I,
a
know, I
rarity.
understand that. Yeah, but then you say that we're not drawing fans. All right, so baseball's
It's
like
true.
this. It's like listen, I love I love chess. I hate checkers. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not
All
gonna
different
tune in.
strategies.
No, I'm not gonna tune into a checkers tournament. I'm not gonna go to your local checker center wherever that is. The church to play checkers. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm not interested in checkers. You know what I'm saying? But chess is a different story. I like chess. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. I'm not a master, but I'm okay and I enjoy the game, So the same way I enjoy baseball. I enjoy baseball way better than I do basketball or football. So football I can watch a game, but it's not as interesting to me as a baseball game. I'm just saying. That's just me. That's my opinion. So I won't tune in so much to the football like I will with the baseball. That's how it is. Some people, baseball's for the people who wanna, who understand. I'm gonna be not weird, but I'm just gonna say, baseball is for those who understand, and wanna, and
Yeah,
that's it.
baseball's for the they call them, they always say church is like baseball because um they always say baseball is like church because everyone is so against changing the rules, and they have they hold it to high ground, and they don't want to make changes. That the old school people, like, I don't know if your dad agrees with some of the changes or not.
Yeah, he does. He
um
likes a lot of the changes, because that benefits the game. We're talking about the ABS system. Yes, that works. We're talking about throwing over the first only once. Yes, that works. Oh, twice, and then the third one is automatic. I,
Pitch
I like that
clock.
pitch clock. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that stuff. That stuff helps the game. It helps the game. You know, it
Yeah,
just
no, things like that. But, like, my dad, I was talking because my dad came to visit, and we went
yeah,
to a game, and he goes, one of the things I hate about baseball is they don't stretch these pitchers, man. They treat them like glass china dolls. They getting paid the millions of dollars. Who cares? Let them pitch. Whether you pitch them 90 innings or you pitch them 70 innings, they're gonna get hurt anyway. You know why? Because they all throw grass. So he kind of wishes maybe they weren't so pro speed versus more. There should be baseball should be more teaching pitchers how to throw controllability, control your pitches, because that's how you're gonna live a long. That's how you're gonna pitch a long time.
yeah.
That's
You're
how
right.
Mariano pitched a long time. That's how Darryl Strawberry. Who else? Doc Gooden. Those guys, they didn't have lights out speed pitching, but guess what? You know what they had? They knew how to control the strike zone, and that's why they were so effective. You know what's worse than speed? Okay, with if you're a batter, okay, I know you're gonna throw 90 miles per hour, 4 out of the 5 pitches, whatever I'm gonna get. Okay, I know that, but to know where it's gonna go, geez, that's very scary. You don't know where it's gonna go.
That's why it's so hard to play that fucking game. It's so
Yeah,
hard
that's
because
why I
you
say
don't know.
baseball is the hardest sport to hit.
I'm telling you, I love that sport. It's just like chess. You have to think. It's a lot of strategies. People think, oh, it's like you hit the ball, you run. No, it's not that simple. It's a lot of strategy, and
And that's why there's so much analytics involved in baseball than any other
yeah,
sport. They
exactly.
like micro to the millisecond of
Yeah, because they want to
every
win. They
stat you
want
can
to
think
win.
of.
Yeah, listen. If you have something up your sleeve that the next team, the team that you're playing that night
Yeah,
doesn't have, that's an advantage. You know what I'm saying? If you know that your starter, when you did the numbers, when he went 7 innings, you got these numbers, and then when he went four, that means he went around 3 times, and it worked out a little better. And you
yeah,
see the numbers, you're not gonna fight the numbers because you want to win. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna fight the numbers. This is why I understand why they did it. It's not like because if you were running a team, you would say, "Chill, talking about Pablo pitches well 3 times around the order, and after that, his numbers seem to decline after the fourth time around." And these are the numbers right here. It's not like I'm making this shit up or I'm trying to protect his arm or anything like that. The numbers are right here. And then, in that situation, all right, he went around 3 times. He got to the fifth, sixth inning. Cool. Depending on how he was hit. If he was hit, then, that order's going to come around a lot faster, right? So you have to be careful. In that situation, you kind of have to keep him in, right? Because you don't want to just say, oh, he went around 3 times in 2 innings because He was getting lit up. You have to get rid of him. Look at Senga. You saw what happened to Senga?
Yeah, that's
Senga,
true.
3 innings, 70 pitches. See you later. Horrible. I mean, whatever. And then you see what happens today. You know,
Well, the reason why he pitched 70 pitches because a lot of his pitches in the first three
yeah,
innings were balls and out of the zone, so he's wasting pitches,
yeah.
or the
Oh my
guys were
god.
getting out there, they're just fouling it off, fouling it off.
Not
That's
even.
how
You know, not
you
even. I
know
was there. They weren't even swinging at it, Lasha. They weren't even
they're
swinging
just
at it. You know
balls.
why? Because he was going. First guy up. Check this out. 0-2. Then he starts throwing the ghost. He walks that guy. Yo, he threw 8 balls in a row after those first 2 strikes, bro. 8 balls in a
Yeah,
row. Okay? Nobody's falling for that fork shit anymore. Especially in an 0-2 count, you know as a batter that the pitcher is not going to give you anything to hit. So this is why you have to put it down the pipe. This is why you have to paint the corners. You just can't rely on throwing balls outside the box and hoping that they swing. You know what I'm saying? Because no pitcher, if you watch baseball, it's everybody's doing the same thing. 0-2 count, at least 2 or 3 balls outside before they say, okay, I guess I have to throw back inside again.
no, definitely. The days of today's hitters are a lot more disciplined than the before.
I
Um,
agree.
but the problem is why they do that is because the batters are taught to home runs are nothing, so they are more aggressive. So that's why Sango is like that because he goes, you know what, these guys are so aggressive that they might just chase. But see, the thing with Senga, he's what in his second year in the U.S., second or third year
I would
in the
say
U.S.
third, right?
Third,
Because you know what
okay.
happened? He didn't play for a year, right? Something like that. Yeah, last year he didn't play last year. He came to the playoffs and
Oh, that's right. But what I'm just trying to say is that they've already figured him out. You know what I mean? Same thing with Otani, and the difference between they figure they're figuring him out. Um. So they've figured him out. One and two, players know that he just got back up, so they know that he's probably not 100% with his stuff. I don't mean healthy wise. Yeah, he's 100%
You're
healthy.
talking about mechanics. You're talking about mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics, Sanga wise. Yeah, yeah. I'm not talking about health. But yeah, so it's gonna take for a little to get adjusted. Rehab is different than a ball game, and
No.
AAA is way different than the majors. So
He hasn't
I don't know
pitched a lot
what
because
is.
he keeps getting hurt. He was hurt last year. This year he came in, he got hurt. He hurt his leg. Took a while for him to come back. He just came back again, for the
I
second time
know.
this year. It's kind of crazy. Like he's having bad luck. But and the fork ain't working anymore. But it's okay. We
He's
just
got to figure out something new.
yeah. I don't think this team
He needs
has
to
it.
adapt.
Yeah,
Because batters can adapt to you. Here's my thing. I think it's harder for pitchers to adapt once they've known they've been figured out. That's a hard thing to do. Once you know my antics are up, you gotta learn how to come up with new antics. I'm just saying, just an example. You gotta learn how to be a little more trickier with getting around guys. With pitching, and he's learning. He hasn't learned that yet.
I
But the
mean
problem
it's
is when you're injured all the time, you don't have the chance to do it. So it's not
exactly.
his fault.
I mean, but it's so easy to do it, right? So they're expecting, right? And the majority of the time they're 100% right because 0-2 count, he's not gonna throw anything inside, right? Inside the box. And you know what? You have to. You have to surprise them here and there. You have to throw something inside the box, whether it's high or low in the corner. You have to throw it because they're not expecting it, and that causes strikeouts, right? So we need that. He needs to, and then he can go back to his old ways, but he has to go back and forth between it. You know what I'm saying? He has to be a little bit more, deceptive. But he's not doing that right now, and he's suffered. But we still were able to win the game, which is crazy. We were able to sweep the Angels. They're playing decent baseball. Of course,
Yeah,
Mike
they're only
Trout
four
came to
under
the
five
stadium.
hundred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not that bad.
You
But
think Angels will trade him? It's
nah, they're never gonna trade him. I don't think he wants to go anywhere at this point. At this point, I don't know if
he's
he's
way too
chasing a ring.
loyal.
I mean, he's way too loyal. I don't know. He wants to be that true guy. You know what I'm saying? That true. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, of course,
Stubbornness, man, that's my
yeah.
problem too. But
Listen,
it's hey, hats off to him. I guess maybe when you're a player like that and you realize, okay, my chances of winning a chip, they're gone out the window. And there's a lot of great players who never won a championship and they're still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean,
So
but I can see him,
it's like
as a
Piazza,
Met fan, as a Met,
right?
I can see him playing DH for the rest of his career here, and doing it right. And then for his
Anywhere.
last year, trade him back to the Angels so he can retire over there. You know what I'm saying? But if he wants to win a championship, I think the humblest way to do it is jumping on the Mets bandwagon, not jumping on the Dodgers bandwagon, because that you look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Everybody comes here to hold hands. Get out of here with that shit. You know. It has to be a team that's gonna have to work for it to get there, and he's gonna have to contribute. It's not gonna be a team like, here, we're gonna hand you a ring at the end of the year because you know what I'm saying, this team wins. Get out of here with that shit. So no Yankees, no Dodgers. We don't want that kind of energy around Mike Trout. But a team like the Mets, I can see him transitioning to that. And it's a good fan base. We're trying.
Yeah, I think with the Mets, man, if they can just get over that crutch of runners in scoring position,
Yeah.
they'll be fine. They're starting to do it. They did well today. The question is, can he be consistent? Can he start scoring runners in scoring position?
Today was
Can
the
the big
first day.
guys? Can Lindor had a great game today. Alonso had a
Yeah.
great. All the three guys they showed up. If all those three guys show up and then some, and then Beatty, he's doing well
He's
lately.
doing well, unfortunately,
I'm
man.
I
Listen,
don't like
I don't
him, but that's
understand. I
just.
mean, neither do I. I don't know what he's doing,
But
but yeah,
if that clicks, right now, you're what if right now Philadelphia is losing. So if they lose, the Mets will go back into first place, with the Phillies or a tie. I think. Yeah, it'd be a tie. I think for first place. So either way, so if
no,
the
but the
Mets can be
Phillies won today,
consistent,
right? The Phillies won
no, they're
today.
playing right now.
They're playing right now.
They're playing Boston. They're losing 6-5, seventh, eighth inning.
Oh, I
I
love it.
got the game on my phone. So yeah, that's what it comes
Okay,
down to.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, listen, today's we said a lot already, and we have to jump on topic real quick because you have to talk about another team that for some reason
Yes,
decided to just start streaking, right? And Boston did it. They went 10 in a row right before the
Minnesota
break. Minnesota did it this year as well,
in
but now
June.
Milwaukee is getting hot at the right time as well. They won
Yeah,
11 games in a row. They got snapped last night. They lost 1-0 to Seattle, but they were
they won
able to win
today.
today. And yeah, they won the
Yeah,
rubber match, so they won the series. So even still, that one game, whatever, man, they're right back on it. That's a lot of games in a row. But hold on though, nobody understands that it wasn't just 11 games in a row. It was 6 against the Dodgers.
they
Okay,
swept the Dodgers. Yeah,
twice,
twice.
twice. Okay, so we're talking about serious business, all right? And everybody laughs and says, "Oh, this team, no, this team was the first team in the National League to hit 60." All right, Detroit had it for a while. These guys just finished doing it. First team in the National League to win 60 after the Mets started off, you know, hot. And you know what happened? Now I don't even think we have what it takes to win a championship. I really don't. Not this team. This team has to figure it out. Maybe Stearns can figure it out. Like trading some pieces and getting rid of the stuff that I don't like personally, because I'm pretty sure he sees the same thing I see. I'm not crazy, right? But
No, for the Mets, the biggest thing is bullpen help, man. Their bullpen, besides Diaz, has not been reliable. What's the name? The eighth inning guy. What's Garrett? Is that his name? Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah, he's been pretty good for y'all for the
Yeah, I
most
mean
part.
everybody's tired back there, bro, because
But the other
they've got
guys
our
have
our starting
been.
rotation can't go more than 5. They're stuck in that. Only Peterson can do it. This is why the bullpen has been taxed. So we need help. We need help. I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm not gonna say it's early. We still have like a week left, right?
I think a week from today. What's today?
Today's the 23rd, so we have like till
A
the
week from
31st.
tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, so a week from
So
tomorrow. So
tomorrow, a
a
week
week.
from today is the 30th. So next Thursday, um, so it'll be 2 podcasts from now. We'll know what happened.
Oh
But
man.
either way, um, yeah. So now, but you can kind of tell who's already sellers. We already know who the sellers are in the American League. American League sticks out more than the National League. You have more contenders in the National League than you do American League.
Yeah.
In the American League, it's the Yankees, the Detroit Tigers, and the Houston Astros. they're just both of them. Now, Yankees have been struggling. I guess you should say Toronto. I forgot about Toronto.
No,
See,
Toronto's on. That's their division right
Toronto's on
now.
fire.
That's right.
That's crazy because to me, I look at Toronto as like Milwaukee. Good every year, always makes the playoffs, but either fumbles into the playoffs or gets kicked out in the first round. That's how you describe the team.
Nah, but
So
look,
it's hard to take
Boston's
them
there too.
seriously.
Boston's there too, though.
Boston's there too. Boston got hot. Everybody but Baltimore in that division is good.
Exactly.
Um, and then
Unfortunately.
Central. That's hey, listen. The only people to blame is the GM. That's why the manager got fired. But as far as the Central goes, it's Cleveland the Central. Well, Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland just got to 500, but they're not gonna make it. And then the West is gonna be Houston, and I don't know about Seattle. They're all right, but they're not nothing to
I mean, you never know
overwrite
what can
about.
happen. Look at these with these streaks that are happening now. You don't know what can
Anyone can
happen.
go on one. Yeah,
Exactly. Anyone can go on
the
one.
Mets can get back on an 11 game win. 10,
Yeah, of
7 game
course.
winning streak.
Exactly. They have a 4 game winning streak right now. So
Yeah.
it could be the start of it right here. You know
Who
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
play
So
next?
we play. Oh, this is great. We play San Fran over
At
there, then
home?
San Diego, and then San Francisco comes back home with us.
I think you could beat San Francisco. San Diego's been struggling, so if you can
Nah, I
go
mean
4-2 on that road trip, that'd be a good road trip.
that depends on our
6 games
pitching.
each.
We haven't been hitting. We just today was the first game that I said, damn, they actually deserved that win. They actually, played their hearts out. They hit well, and I was proud of them. But man, Lindor went for what, 0 for 30 something, 0 for 32 or something crazy, 34 or something like that before he got his first hit. Like get out of here with that. That's a
Yeah,
serious, problem right there. I don't know.
it's weird because with Lindor, he started out slow last year, then he got hot and stayed hot. The question is see the Mets have built up enough cushion that it's okay. You can kind of
You
wait,
keep
be
saying that,
patient.
but nah, the Phillies are there
But
already. We keep trading spots, like nah, we don't need that right now. We can't. We don't have that luxury anymore. We had it and we ruined it because we couldn't keep the stretch.
yeah, you can hold on to the lead.
Could nah, we couldn't hold on to it.
But yeah, I don't know. But as far as Milwaukee goes, Milwaukee has a good, decent. It's crazy because you thought Milwaukee would take a step back with losing Adamas, losing Burns, and losing their
Losing
closers,
Stearns,
Trevor Williams, losing the
losing their
GM
manager.
and manager, and they've found a way to.
Yeah,
Granted, they've taken advantage of a bad division, but that's what a good team should do. So I give them credit for doing that. But do I see them going far in the first round? No, not really. I could see other teams taking them out before they make it to the second round.
I mean,
Uh, it
we
depends
can't
who they
say
would
they're
have to
bad. We
face.
can't say they're bad. Think about
They're
it.
not bad. They're a good
Last
team.
year, last year in the playoffs, what happened? That Alonso home run, that was, some
That
fairy
was
tale type shit. You know what I'm saying?
lucky.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But listen, this is baseball, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
But still though, fairy tale shit. We're not gonna say that it couldn't have been the other way around as well, you know what I'm saying? Because we've seen that happen. So it's baseball. But at the end of the day, fairy tale shit, that means that, they had the upper hand and they were pressing on our necks and look what happened.
Yeah, and then they have a the best player, I guess, superstar because they don't really have one is Jackson Chirios. He's the center fielder, but he just got up there,
Yeah,
so
and they
he's
got
not a star.
this new guy, this little
Yelich is
guy that made
there,
the guy that
but
made the
he's
All-Star game after washing his hands at the
oh
facility for
yes,
5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
that's right, the pitcher. Yeah, so they have a sneaky rotation that's pretty good. But
They
Yelich is
do.
still there, but I think he's either hurt
Yeah.
or just not doing well.
No,
But
he's
anyway,
he's okay.
I don't know how far they're gonna go, but what makes them impressive is they're a small market team and they don't have a big salary, so they're doing with a bunch of nothing, trade pieces here and there. So it just proves that, if you're a small market team, you can't do it. Baltimore did a couple years ago, through the farm system, um, without having to go big, but that was before they got new ownership. But we'll see. But yeah, Milwaukee, good for them. And for Chicago,
This is
I
the
thought it was gonna be
problem.
Chicago's
I
division
all
because
vision
Chicago's
just
right
yeah,
there.
but it's not though.
But
You know why? Because in the last 4 years, Milwaukee has won the division. All right, and Milwaukee's
yeah,
sneaky, like you said. And guess what? It's not gonna be that easy, and I love it. It's
no,
not gonna be that easy. It's not. Okay, so the funny thing about it is that if these guys obviously have to fight it out, right? But one of these guys might not even make the playoffs because you have the teams like you have the Phillies and the Mets. They're gonna fight it out, right? And if one of them sneaks into the playoffs, that's already one slot. You have two slots left, and then that might belong to San Diego and San Francisco. So depending on who has the better record, Milwaukee might not even make the playoffs, or vice versa. Chicago might not make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting to watch what happens there. But
Yeah.
I asked my dad today. I said, "Who do you like in that situation?" Because I was talking to him about that just before we started, right? And he's like, "I like Milwaukee in that situation." I said, "Okay, I feel you on that."
They have a better. On paper, Chicago looks more sexier,
Yeah, of
but if
course
you
they
look
do.
closely at Milwaukee's rotation, it's kind of better than Chicago's. The only guy I only can name one start on the Cubs, Jameson Tyone. I don't know who else they have.
Pete
It just tells
Romstar.
you,
Yeah, I
huh?
don't know. They have
It
PCA,
just yeah, but I mean pitching wise,
but pitching wise, I know
pitching
what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
your pitching rotation is more important in the playoffs than anything else.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
dig that. Trust me, I know.
and actually, your bullpen is way more important nowadays in the playoffs
And that's the
because
truth.
average pitcher goes 5 innings even in the playoffs, and so the bullpen gets taxed. So it comes down to which bullpen has the stamina to get through 182 162 games, and then the team that wins the World Series, I think it's what another 20 games you play, just after. So you're
After,
basically playing 180 games
which is
essentially.
crazy.
All right,
Don't forget spring
to
training.
win a chip.
The 35 something games
No,
that you
because
play.
spring
That
training,
too.
those guys don't play every game, and they don't play a whole game.
Still though, you
Yeah, they
still have to
play
be there.
innings.
You still have to participate in games though. You know what I'm saying? That's my
Yeah, I
point.
guess you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's
It's
true. But yeah, I don't know.
all right, and you're not just gonna go there and tank it. You're not having a beer and swinging. You're actually trying to develop what you're gonna be like in the season. So it's part of the process, and it's an actual game because they actually go the distance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't get played as much as you would on a regular basis, but not only that, you're fighting for a slot on the team if you're not a veteran player. So it's spring training is very important.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it'll be interesting. But Milwaukee keeps winning, and Chicago, you know, keeps losing.
Yeah,
Then or if Milwaukee loses and Chicago loses, then you're not gaining any ground. And that's the issue with the Mets and Phillies. Every time the Mets lose, the Phillies lose. Every time the Mets win, the Phillies win. So it's like you're not really gaining any ground.
yeah, but they're
When
both on
you're
the
on the streak, you need the other team to have a bad
yeah.
streak.
They both
Opposite of
started
you.
streaks though. They both started streaks, right?
Yeah,
So
and
let's
that's
see what
that's the name of
happens.
the game. Start a streak. To
Yeah,
me, a streak is more than 3 games.
of course,
2 games is
definitely.
not a
Now
streak.
listen, if you win a series, you started a streak. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? If you won a
Well, if you
series,
win the
a
last
sweep,
two
a
of the
sweep. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that too.
if you win the last two of the series, yeah. But if you sweep,
If you
like
sweep, you
the
started a
Mets did
streak.
with the Angels,
Yes.
yeah. And then now
And they
San
had won
Francisco
one.
can be
They won one
beatable.
prior. Yeah, and they won
Yeah,
one prior to the series. So that's four in a row. Now we're
yeah.
going
San
into San
Francisco can
Fran.
be, yeah. San Francisco can be beatable. They've calmed down. They've come down to earth. Jung Hoo Lee was their best. Now I don't know. I should take that back because they just
They
took
have
2 out of 3
Devers.
from Atlanta. They beat the crap out of Atlanta.
Yeah,
Devers hit 2 home runs. Atlanta's done. It's just they got shellacked by the Yankees, dude. So I went to the game on Saturday with my father, and he was pissed because they were winning. The Braves were winning 7-2. My parents are the type of people we're gonna stay the whole game no matter what because you know what, we paid a lot of money to go see this. We're not gonna
yes,
just let it go. Wow, the Phillies just tied the game. Sorry to interrupt. Now
no
it's six
problem.
six
Wow.
against Boston against Chapman. But anyway, so you played a lot of money. Dude, the sixth inning for the Braves was like the worst inning ever. They just walked everybody. Then they gave a grand slam, and then they took the lead back to Braves, and then the eighth inning happened, and then and then the Yankees won the next game. So the Braves are done. They're gonna get rid of Ozuna. They're gonna get rid of their pitchers, their relief pitchers that are not gonna come back. I don't know who's gonna want Iglesias, but they're gonna start over, retool. They're gonna be like the Orioles. They're gonna retool. They're just missing starting pitching. And the other problem is their star players have not performed. Riley hasn't been the same. Olsen has been okay, but not great. Albies has been inconsistent. Acuna just got back. He's inconsistent.
So bad, so bad.
Harris is so bad that I think Harris needs to be sent back. Harris is like, I don't know. He's great defensively, but offensively he's just been terrible. They need to send his ass back to the AAA and figure it out. Send him back to Gwinnett and figure it out because he's been terrible. Thank God they don't owe him a lot of money yet. Because if they did, man, you'd be pulling your hair out even more. But so anyway, with that being said, so it looks like the National League East is going to come down to the Mets and Phillies. The National League Central is going to come down to the Cubs and Brewers. And the National League West, it's going to come down to the Padres and the Dodgers. Arizona, they're just too many injuries and they're just inconsistent. And the American League is going to come down to Toronto and the Yankees and Boston. In the West, in the AL Central, it's going to be uh, Detroit and Cleveland. Detroit for sure.
Detroit for
And
sure.
then and then the American League West is going to come down to I guess Houston and Seattle. Texas is right there, but they're not. I don't know what the problem is with Texas. Their offense is just not producing, while their pitching is producing.
Yeah.
So so you kind of with the trade deadline coming up next year, you kind of have an idea of who the sellers are more so in the American League than the National League. So I have a question, right? If you're a team like the Cleveland Guardians, you just got above 500. Do you sell or do you buy or do you do a little bit of both? That's a tough place to be because you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You're
I
playing
mean,
better, I don't know what you do. It's an interesting situation.
yeah, it is. You have problems too. I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I mean, if you have a hunch that it's gonna work out, you think you're two pieces away, and you can actually get those two pieces, then I would say go for it. You know what I'm saying? You're making your team better no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for controllability, obviously. You're not just gonna go with rentals. You're not gonna give away your prospect for rentals. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in a really tight situation and you need it to go on a run. But
Hmm.
you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna get rid of pieces for rentals. You're gonna go. You're looking for the right pieces. You're like, all right, this isn't a helpless situation, and you never know. You know, it can change the lineup. It can change the look. It can change a lot of things. Bringing in, something that makes the team look more attractive.
Yeah,
You know, I,
I'd be interested to see if the Mets would trade for someone like Class A and use him as a setup man for Diaz because that would be a big. And then you push Regret as your seventh inning guy. Then you just need one guy for the sixth, and then you minimize the ability of your bullpen to do to implode. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I don't
I
know.
think that's a lot of reason why the Mets have lost some games. There, yeah, the offense wasn't scoring, but the bullpen would implode at the worst times possible.
Yeah,
Even if Peterson had a good game, that's what happened against Baltimore. Peterson had a great game, and then you bring in Stanek for I don't know what they're so hot about him. Bring him in, and he blows the game. So
no,
a
he's
team
so
like the
good.
Mets,
He's just tired, man.
yeah,
He's
the
so
both.
good.
Yeah, but you know what? Every team's bullpen is used up. It's just
Taxed at this time, yeah.
it just sucks. But so if you're a contender, you gotta say, okay, well, let me try to retool my bullpen.
Now you need to find starters that can go 7 innings and have proven that they've been able to do that throughout the season because our rotation cannot. So this is why our bullpen is so taxed. Because imagine how many innings we're talking about. If you add up every single game, if you add up two less innings for the bullpen, how many innings are we talking about? We're talking about a lot. We went 100 games already, and 100 times two is 200. So that's 200
Yeah,
innings that you don't have to use your bullpen. You see what I'm talking about? It's a serious problem that our starting rotation can't go 7 innings. That's a serious problem. All right, but
yeah.
remember, go ahead. I want you
No,
to,
it's gonna be a problem. I was gonna say it's you can get away with it now, but in the playoffs, no.
no. Okay, and remember last week you were like, what do you think? You were like, what do you think about Francisco Alvarez? He's doing so well downstairs. You think that when he comes up, he's going to be able to transition? And there you go. He's been able to transition with no problem. He came in, he played 2 games out of the series. And in the first game, he was excellent behind the dish. He was just hitting the ball. He has this certain confidence. In the next game, he hits a home run, and he's producing and helping the team. I like the new look. He hit 11 home runs downstairs, and he came up hit one yesterday. So now that's 12 in a very short span. and I think that he's moving in the right direction, and he needed to reset.
Yeah, well, the Mets didn't send him down because of his catching. They sent him down because of his bat. It was just dry.
It was
You know,
both. It
he was
was
all he
both.
was he was all right behind the plate. He wasn't spectacular, but sometimes you just need a restart. That's what they need to do. Same thing with Acuna. They brought him back up. He seems to look all right.
Yeah,
Um,
poor
I think it's
Acuna.
gonna take a while for him to get his bat to be like. The problem with Acuna is that everyone compares him to his brother, and he's not his brother. He's more of a line drive hitter, but he can be. Don't get me wrong, he has that potential. But he's more of a line drive hitter, get on base, cause havoc on the paths, and he plays a pretty good second base for the
Yeah, but
Mets.
I don't look at him like Ronald at all. I don't look at him that way. I I look at him as his own player. I know what his capabilities are. The Mets are not using him properly, but I like him and I want to keep him. I don't want him to be involved in any one of the deals that apparently makes us better. According to the Stearns or whoever made the move. But I
What do you
like the
mean they're not
kid.
using him properly? What's your definition of not being used
I
properly?
mean, they're not at this point in the season. He should at least have 40 stolen bases. You know what I'm saying? He has 13, 14 stolen bases. Matter of fact, he has 13 out of 14 this year, something like that. All right. He's not getting played. They're not developing him properly. He should be playing second base every single day. He should be earning that slot. You know what I'm saying? Letting him go through the struggles. As long as he gets on base and he attempts to steal, he's helping us, try to get numbers on the board, right? That's the job, right? So I think he's one of those players that's fast, electric, great defensively at second base, and I think he should totally get the shot to be the second baseman for the New York Mets instead of here, sit down here, here, come in the eighth inning, play third, or let's use you in this little pinch run situation. I want you to play him. I need you to play him. I think he can be really productive for our team. You keep playing around with, Nemo in the first slot. You know, you keep switching it up. I don't know what you're doing with the first slot in the lineup. So have you tried Acuna there? He's really fast. It'll make a difference. I guarantee you that. But
Yeah, it's
that's just
funny because what the Mets need to so what the Mets need to do with Acuna is just let him play it out. Is what the Yankees are doing with Volpe, but the difference between Acuna and Volpe is that it's costing them games. What in the last 2 days he made 4 errors, and both of them because of Volpe's errors, the Yankees lost the games. So the
no.
Yankees need to send Volpe down, but they don't want to because he was deemed. It makes them look bad because they held on to signing
So
trading
what?
shortstops to
That's
make him look. I know
bullshit.
it's stupid.
It
I
happened to
agree.
Jackson Holiday, and then he finally figured it out. It's happening to
Yeah,
Beatty now, and because Beatty, he's perfect trade bait because he went down, came back up, went down, came back up, and he kind of like figured it out. Now he's on a little streak. Everybody's noticing, so why not dangle him? You know what I'm saying? Because you'll get something in return for that. And I think he's causing development problems too because now he's stealing Vientos's playing time. I don't like that at all. It's bothering me. So if you can get rid of
but
him,
with
cool.
Vientos, yeah. So the disappointing thing about Vientos, and a part of me wants to give him slack because he just came back from being injured, but he has not lived up to what he was like last year. I don't know if it's lack of playing time or he lost his confidence while he was out, but he has not produced because the Mets are hoping that he's your third baseman. Because
Yeah,
if he's your third baseman,
you don't have to
you don't
worry
have to go.
about that
You don't have
shit.
to trade for somebody. You don't have to be like, oh shoot, now let me go Eugenio Suarez. Crap, I
No, no,
gotta
but
give up
this
a
is the
lot of people.
problem. If you get Suarez, you're not gonna play him at third. He's gonna have to be your true DH at this point for the rest of the season because you have so many problems at third. You have too many people playing third. You can't. So what happens if you do that? If you trade for him, what are you gonna give back in return? You have to give them Beatty, right? And Suarez is a rental. I don't know. Is he the rental? I think he's a rental.
Yeah, but if you're gonna trade for some reason why I think it would be the Mets would be because or the Yankees because they're the teams that can give him that big give him that money if you want to keep him. But the Mets are not.
He's like 35 years old, Lasha. Nobody's giving
Is
him
he?
anything. Yeah, bro. Look it up.
I didn't know that. I
He's an
didn't
old
know that.
man.
Well, either way, if that's the case and he's past his prime, and
He's
you're not willing to
34
give him
years old. He's 34 years old.
you're not gonna give him a 3-year contract, then fine, don't trade for him. You're better off just keeping what you have and figure out your problems within in house. Um, but that's not the main Mets problem. Yeah, third base it looks like a problem, but it's the problem is the offense is not producing. Let's be honest. It's the Mets aren't losing games because Beatty makes 1,000. He does make errors. Don't get me wrong. He's made a lot of costly errors at third. You know, but that's not the issue. So I don't know what the Mets would do, but I think it would be a lot to give up, knowing that Suarez is 35 years old, 34.
34.
That's a lot to give up for literally a 6-month rental.
Exactly.
And
You're not doing
you
that.
know you're not gonna sign him. That'd be stupid. You would have to give up a lot because he's a hot commodity. Remember, the trade deadline. The reason why people wait till the last minute because a player in the beginning of the year might not bring back much value, but when you're a desperate team and you think you're right there, like the Yankees or something,
Yeah,
Yankees
I
another
mean
example.
that.
They need a third baseman. They're gonna make that move because they're desperate, and that's their biggest hole. Third baseman and center fielder. They have the same issue as the Mets. Their center fielder is not producing or not as well as they like him. Problem with Tyrone Taylor is not his defensive metrics; it's his offensive metrics. He just doesn't produce.
No,
You
he
need
doesn't.
both,
Yeah,
So I think in my opinion, the two things the Mets are going to go after is center fielder and relief. That's my
yeah.
opinion. It'd be a stretch for them to go for third base. I think they're going to
No,
work
no,
out their
no, no.
problems.
The third base, they can't. They can't. It's too much. It'll create too many problems. But they could go for a bat, and they could just slot him in the DH slot. Because at this point, we need to strengthen the lineup. But if Alvarez continues to hit, if Beatty is really gonna go on this streak and we don't get rid of him, if McNeil continues to hit the way he's hitting, and the 3 and the 4, you know what I'm saying? The 1, 2, 3, 4, which is Nemo, Lindor, Alonso, and Soto. If those four can hit, and then the supporting cast continues to hit the way they're hitting now, then I think we have a shot. But we need one more pitcher. We need one something. Dylan Cease for some reason is up for grabs. San Diego's listening in. It's a rental, but it's a rental that can help us across. Maybe he needs to change the scenery. He's not doing well over there, so maybe
I
a
was
change
going to
of
say that's
scenery.
why they're trading him. He's
I know,
awful.
I know. Right now, but you know what?
That'd be a steal
He still has
because
no. It's a rental though, and
I
you
meant like a
understand?
steal trade. Like you didn't have to give up a lot. Where at the
No, you
beginning
can't.
you'd have to give up a lot to get him, but now you don't have to
Yes,
give up.
you don't have
You could
to.
give up you could give up 4 cheeseburgers and a Big Mac, to get him just
Exactly. Yeah,
because his value has gone
I'm
down,
down, but
and
he's still
that's but
good
he still
strikeout
has it.
ratio.
Yeah, you know. Another problem with San Diego is they don't produce runs when he pitches. You
Yeah,
know. But so I don't know. Maybe a change of scenery would be good for him. I don't know. But New York is a lot of pressure, man. You think San Diego's hard? New York is 10 times worse. As far
yeah.
as if he plays the way he did in San Francisco and New York in the second half, they'll boo him. So they'll freaking the Mets Craig, our friend Craig, he'll freaking drive his ass to the airport to get the hell out of town.
Oh man, baseball. This season has been so weird. I'm telling y'all. I'm trying to tell you, this game looks fixed, man. All these teams that were, so far ahead at the beginning of the season and just taking off, right, leaving everybody in the dust, decided to all tank at the same time and let the rest of the league catch up to them. So now everybody's tied up and pretty close to each other, making it look like there's something happening. You know what I'm saying? The reverse effect of whatever happened in the beginning of the season. It's a weird season. At this point, Baltimore's going to win the World Series. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
geez.
At
Not after
this rate,
13 games under 500.
I mean, listen, you guys are definitely not looking good. I mean, yeah,
More
the
like
wild card is
Toronto,
always there.
maybe. Toronto could Toronto could freaking make a run.
My man, I don't know. You're eight. I don't know. The last time I checked, yesterday, eight and a half away. You lost today
But
as well,
yeah,
so you know.
but just remember, I think about last year. There were teams that were buyers, and all the players that they got in the trade deadline. Look at the Orioles. They traded for all these guys. They were complete bust. Trevor Rogers, he came over from Miami. He was awful. Um, Soto wasn't all that great. Gregory Soto, Dominguez wasn't all that great. Now they're having a better year, but it's pointless because they're all going to be sold back out. They're all going to get shipped back out because they're doing terrible. But so it doesn't guarantee you that you trade for all these guys and your team's going to be all right. Yay, problems are solved. We can move on. Let's go. That's not going to work.
Nah. If
You
you have
don't
a
know
good
how they're going
GM,
to be.
if you have
You
a
know.
good GM, you can make it happen. The problem is that you started off the month 7-10 right now, and that's not the way to go. You're going in the wrong direction, and it's bad. But you got, the season's almost over. It's crazy like that. It's going so fast. It's the end of the
I
month
know.
already.
I'm sad.
August, September,
Two
boom.
months.
2 months and the game is over, bro. Then we're gonna shorten it up real quick with the best of the best,
Wild
and we're
cards.
wild cards. It went faster than hell, and
Season's over by what? The first week of November. Usually, it's over.
yeah,
Sad.
it's over. It's over. It's okay though.
Mm.
It's okay.
But I think I don't think the Mets need to do a lot. I think they just I don't know what it is. Their stars need to just start performing like they're paid to do, and they're just not doing it. Maybe the Angels were the right team to wake them up. I want to see how they do against a contender. Believe it or not, San Francisco's a contender.
Of course they
They're
are.
so let's see how they do against them. LA is the Angels are not scrubs. They're a lot better than last year. Don't get me wrong, but the Giants are different. Giants have a good rotation. Logan Webb and all these other guys, but they are they're not the Giants. The Giants have a really good offense. They got Chapman, they got Jung Ho Lee, they got Damas. Yeah, I think I forgot who the catcher is. Is it Bailey? Or I forgot who the catcher is. But anyway, I'm just naming some of the players. They're a good team, and they're gonna challenge the Mets.
That's
So
right.
that's a good test for the Mets.
I believe it. I'm scared for them. It can be really, really ugly, because if San Fran gets a hold of us at 6 games, we either split that shit or we take
We
it.
got to win the series.
Yeah,
It's a 3 game
exactly.
series.
3-3, I
Oh,
believe.
three in San Francisco and then three in New York. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But I meant like the currently coming up with the 6 games that the Mets have in the next.
It's gonna be nine
It's
games.
on the
It's gonna be
West
San
Coast, right?
Francisco. Yeah, it's gonna be San Francisco, San
San
Diego
Diego.
on the West Coast, and then they fly back to NY with San Fran, and they play a series over here. That's as far as I'm going. That's 9 games right there, and then those 9 games are gonna be very important. Very important. Well, hopefully we can figure this out. Now,
Yeah, and then you gotta just take advantage of Philadelphia when they lose, but that the Philadelphia's not really losing. They just keep winning. Philadelphia's interesting.
yeah,
Uh,
I want the trade deadline to end as well. It's like
I want
you
it to
don't,
come so badly.
yeah, because you don't
I want
know.
it now.
Everybody's gonna make moves. All right, it's whether or not these moves are gonna work. So I'm excited for that because I know that Stearns isn't just he's gonna address the problems, and that's good. You know what I'm saying? Does he have to go above and beyond that? I don't really think so. If he feels like the team has it, remember last year he said it as well. He said, I don't know why this team isn't winning like it should. And it happened. It eventually happened. I know he knows how to put a team together. I know he sees what the problems are. He's not blind. He's gonna try to, fix what's wrong so we can move forward and try to progress and get over the hump. And hopefully everything starts clicking. Because, like you said, it ain't a boxing match. Because in a boxing match, it's you against that other guy. On this team, you have 9 guys that have to work together to,
What's
prevail.
the other 9 guys?
It's very hard. It's not that you can't, you have to contribute and you have to try your best. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's defensively that day, offensively, and then, other guys will pick you up, but it's a team based, it's team based, so like you just can't say, I'm going to go out there and win this for these guys. I mean, there are players like that. Not even the greatest player. I think the greatest player is Aaron Judge. I don't know how he hits the way he does. I don't know how he keeps those high numbers. It's crazy, right? So this guy can't do it by himself, as you can see. I don't. It's crazy. We need a good team. It's a team effort.
Well, the problem with the Yankees is they play their players out of position, and it's costing them games. Yes, the pitching staff is semi hurt. Actually, the pitching staff for the most part is pretty good. Besides Cole, the problem is they make too many mistakes, and the bullpen Devin Williams hasn't been what they expected him to be. Granted, it's his first year. They kept on rotating him between the ninth and the eighth inning. He's doing better lately, but the problem is errors, man. And and the listen to the local sports talk. It's always been the problem the last 2 years for the Yankees. It just finally came to roost in the World Series when you least need it to happen, and it's showing now. So now people are starting to be more aware of that, and it's a problem. You can't is are the errors happening because you got someone playing in the wrong position? Yeah, or in the case of Volpe, that's not the case. In the case of Chaz Chisholm, yeah, he's a team player, but he's not a true third baseman. The range is just different. He's great at second base, but the problem is the main guy that was supposed to be in there, Oswaldo Perez. I think he got hurt, so he's out for the year, and so they've been rotating guys in and out and trying different people. And same thing with center field. Dominguez, he's not as what they expected him to do. It's too early to call up Spencer Jones. That's their prize prospect. He's a center fielder, but it's too early for them to call him up. So they're not going to do that. So they got, Trent Grisham is a good backup, but he's inconsistent. You know, he's good defensively, but his bat is inconsistent. And then, just think about where the Yankees would be without Aaron Judge, man. Because everyone said, oh, the Yankees aren't going to be the same without Soto. Yeah, but they're still, yeah, they're right. They're not going to be the same. But for the most part, they've been pretty good. They've managed to stay, in the division race. But, Bellinger hasn't, he's been okay for them. The guys that they signed, Goldschmidt's been all right, but he's not lights out. He's not producing like they expected him to be. But, Goldschmidt's on the back nine. So that's understandable. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so we're coming down to it. It's gonna get really interesting in a few, and I hope I'm in it because I don't really like watching the playoffs. I have to, we have to talk about stuff now, but I'm not gonna enjoy it as much if the Mets aren't in it, or aren't in it, But we'll see.
I I think the Mets are going to be in it. They have what 20 some odd games above 500. For them to not make it, for them to not make the playoffs, it require a massive just not tanking, but a massive just drop off and just
Implosion.
losing games, and they're not doing that. Yeah, they might lose 3 or 4 games, but then they go back on a 3 or 4 game winning streak. So it's like a seesaw, up down, up down, up down, which is fine. They'll get you through the regular season, but in the postseason, you can't afford to lose 3 games. 3 games, your season's over, especially if you're a wild card. And if you noticed last year, every wild card team that made the wild card, they all got sent home in the first round. So it's starting to prove that maybe winning your division is more is
No,
as
no,
important
they
as being in the playoffs.
no, but we didn't. Did we win the division last year? We didn't win the division, brother.
Huh?
The Mets didn't win the
No, no,
division.
that's true. The Mets are the only team that were a wild card that made it. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Um, so it can happen. You just get hot at the right time. So if that can happen for the Mets, that's great. I like their chances of getting hot better than I do like Milwaukee or Chicago, just because I feel like the Mets have a better lineup on paper than Chicago does. Chicago's have
Yeah,
a bunch of young people. Yeah,
and that's great.
Armstrong is
That works
great.
great.
Swanson has been great. But other than that, it's like, those are the 2 main guys Chicago has to rely on. The Mets have at least 4 guys, if you include Nimmo, to rely on and produce. So if
Yeah,
Alvarez gets hot, that's 5 guys. Lindor,
exactly.
Alvarez, Alonso, Nimmo, and
And I forget that
Alvarez.
Bailey's hot right now too, so
Beatty too. So
that's pretty
maybe
crazy.
as the weather gets hotter in New York, August and September, the hottest months in New York, maybe the balls are traveling because the Mets and the Yankees rely on. They do well when it's warm weather. Ball travels well in those stadiums. So, and if you could get Cedric Mullins, man, I'd be so sad as an Orioles fan to get rid of Mullins. But man, if you get Cedric Mullins, man, he's gonna carry that team so far. because offensively, man, I think he's gonna have rejuvenated. Not that he was doing bad in Baltimore; he's been doing good, but just being away, being on a team that is a contender, knowing that you just left a team that just completely fell apart, 1 year collapse, I guess.
Yeah.
So and he's on an expiring contract, so he's gonna want to do well so that wherever he goes after the Mets, because he's gonna get his money, and this is gonna be his best chance to sign. So if you get Cedric Mullins or Duran or Buxton or and just whoever else you can get, Mullins would be my pick. Just from the speed standpoint, that'd be great. And offensively too, he's been pretty consistent. Mullins is not your home run type of guy. He's more of a line drive hitter. He's gonna get on base. He's like Acuna, Luis Angel Acuna. He gets on base. He makes trouble. He puts pressure. And if you can get another guy on base like that, then the center field position will be sewn up for this year, and then you can worry about it in the off season.
Yeah. We'll see how it works out. I know he's not gonna just come back with nothing. He's gonna figure out what we need and he's gonna address it. Hopefully, we get it done as soon as possible. So we got a hitter of the week and we have a pitcher of the week, and that's gonna be coming to us out of Lasha, and he's gonna tell us who they are this week.
So the hitter of the week is former Orioles Kyle Stowers. He was a part of the trade to get him and Connor Norby were traded to Miami to get um, Trevor Rogers, the pitcher. So far, that trade looks okay for both teams. Kyle Stowers having a great year. Trevor Rogers, he's having a bounce back year. He just came back, so he's been good in the starts. But Stowers against the Orioles in the last game last Sunday, he went 5 for 5, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. So
Insane.
he basically gave the Orioles the middle finger for trading him. Like,
Yeah.
and the guy that I picked for the gunslinger of the week is the guy that he's been
We-
struggling is
yeah.
Dylan Cease in San Diego. He against Washington in a 7-2 win against Washington. He pitched 5 in the third innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts.
You see what I'm
So he
saying?
had
A
a
lot
good
high strikeout
series.
rate. Yeah, high
Yeah.
strikeout rate.
So he had a good series. So those are my gunslinger and hitter of the week
That's
for
awesome.
this week.
Let's
You
see
have a
where he
trivia
lands.
question?
Of course I do.
Okay,
Not gonna
gotta
put it in.
ask.
Yeah, of course. So it's a three-part question. Okay, three
3 parts.
parts.
Shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be easy.
Gotta
Okay, so
think.
all right. So here we go. Who has the most consecutive games in baseball?
What's that? Consecutive games played?
Yes, consecutive games
Albert Pujols
play.
Jr.
Okay, cool.
of all time.
Okay, now how many seasons did the streak continue for?
After he left?
No, no, no. The streak, right? I'm not gonna ask you what the number is yet. I'm asking you
Oh,
how many
the
seasons did it go through? You know what I'm saying? Like the streak of his. How many seasons?
I would say
Consecutive
at
seasons.
least 7 years,
Wow.
7 to 10 years.
More.
That's my guess. I'd
16.
say between seven. Wow, I'm way off.
16. 16. All right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it was 2,632 games consecutively, right? So that spanned over 16 years from 82 to 98. All right. So that's pretty crazy. And the previous record was 2,130 by Lou Gehrig, but this
But that
streak is
just tells
crazy.
you. That just tells you that today's players are built different. Today's players they're not allowed to play that many games in a row. The analytic guys freak out. The hair falls out and the head goes on fire.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the manager not allowed to play with their emotions, their feelings. They can't go with their gut feelings. Excuse me. They got to go by what Yo-Yo from Harvard tell them to do, and so you'll never see that streak. And if someone is close to that, oh, we gotta rest him, man. He needs a
Yeah,
day off.
yeah,
Oh
but think
my,
about it.
his arm might fall off.
16 years of playing 162
162
games.
games,
That's
and
crazy,
that means he
right?
never got hurt. That means he really took care of himself.
Yeah, you know,
It's crazy because you see all these injuries in baseball. It's like, how do these guys always get hurt? Pitchers I
yeah,
can understand, but like when you see like a player getting hurt, like it's like a position player. It's like,
yeah.
oh man, now, unless it's like
That's
an injury into this is like Manny Machado where he stepped on first base a couple years ago and he tore his ACL. A different story, but just like or you slide into second base hard. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a
So
real
anyway,
record.
the question was it was Lou Gehrig, it was Cal Ripken in 16 years. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
2,600. Yeah, that's
yeah,
impressive.
it
So what's
is.
the question? Who's the next closest?
No, no, no. We already spoke on that. It was Lou Gehrig at
Oh,
21:30,
Lou
and
Gehrig. Yeah.
Cal Ripken was 26:32. From the 30th of May in '82 to the 20th of September in '98. That's how long that shit ran. It ran
You
for
know,
a very long 16 years. That's crazy.
I want to know how many games, consecutive games, Jackie Robinson played in, considering all the racial issues that he went through during the segregation and all that. I'm sure there was times where like they just push him out there anyway, even though he was getting literally shit thrown at him,
That's so crazy.
things like that. But I'm gonna look up that stat.
Yeah,
But
and now that you
that's
mentioned
interesting.
that, yeah, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that subject, and we'll definitely do that for the next podcast. I have some stuff I was researching, and it's pretty interesting. It's crazy to be honest with you. Like compared to like what we grew up with to now, there's been a big change in baseball, and we're gonna talk about it. It's not a special edition episode, but it's gonna be something we talk about. It's gonna be really deep, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
before
make it.
season's end.
Yeah, before the season's done, we'll talk about the regular stuff as well. But next week we'll have something really special for you guys, for the for all three of you guys that are out there listening right now. But you have a good night, Lash. It was great. I
See ya,
loved
bro.
it. Peace, brother.